Hooray! Another remake from my childhood! What is up, everyone? We're back again with another review, and this is going to be for the film The Secret Garden, and this is directed by Mark Munden, starring Dixie, Egerickx, Julie Walters and Colin Firth. Now this tells the story of a young orphan girl who finds a magical garden at the bottom of her rich uncle's estate. Well, all my childhood movies have just come flooding back to me lately, haven't they? The Craft, The Witches, and now this. Oh boy, lucky me. In all seriousness, this was a movie I was particularly looking forward to. I put it in my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2020 video, and this is mainly down to the fact that I used to watch the 1990s version all the time as a kid, starring Maggie Smith. And to be honest, unlike the other two movies that I've just mentioned there, I feel like this one could actually have done with a remake, because I feel like if I went to watch that movie now, it would feel a little bit dated. But after watching this, maybe not. Now this movie eventually came to Sky Cinema of all places, and when it did, I lost a little bit of enthusiasm for it. It was a little bit of a red flag for me, in all honesty. However, this movie does have some good things going for it. One of it being the cinematography. Everything looks great, especially in the garden scenes. It's all nice and colourful, and this is something that the earlier version didn't have going for it. The garden just looked kind of bland in that movie, but here everything stands out on screen, and it's a nice colour palette that they went for there, so that is something that it has over the original. Also, the young actress in this, Dixie Egerickx, was fantastic in this movie. It was a really good casting choice, I feel. She plays Mary Lennox, who's a stuck-up, snotty little brat, but that's what she's meant to be. That's the character of her in The Secret Garden, and she pulls it off really well. She meets two friends along the way as well, and they're all the same age here, but none of them contrast from the other. They all do a really good job in that department, and when you've got three child actors leading the way, it can be a disaster, but all three of them done a pretty decent job, I feel. You also have Colin Firth and Julie Walters here. Now, you know you're going to get a good performance from these two no matter what, and you do. You know, they're really decent in the movie. However, they only have some very small screen time, which is another problem in itself, for something I will get onto in a minute. But for what they had to work with, it's a decent job, you know. There's no problems with any of the acting performances in this movie for me. And even though 90% of this movie's plot is Mary Lennox and her friends in this garden, it does attempt to tell a little bit of a backstory regarding Mary's mother and the downfall that she had in life. It flashbacks sometimes, and I have to give it credit, you know, for attempting something a little bit different there and not keeping it so stale. However, I wish we would have got a little bit more of this story as well. And just a quick side note, if you like dogs, you're going to love the one in this movie. Every time he was on the screen, he made me smile, and he was just a fun little character. In fact, I'm going to go as far to say he's the best character in this whole damn movie. Now, as you could tell from my underwhelming enthusiasm at the start of this video, this movie does have a few problems. And let's just start with the biggest one. This movie bored the absolute pants off me. This was so dull at times, nothing really happens, and I nearly fell asleep toward the end of this movie. And this is down to a few factors. The story itself isn't anything interesting, considering it's based on a famous novel, and the garden, apart from looking good, isn't anything special either. I mean, I thought they should have made the garden a character in itself in this movie, but there's nothing great about it. It's just a place where these kids go, hang out and play with this dog, and that's it. One thing I loved about the original was Mrs. Medlock, played by Maggie Smith. When I seen Julie Walters cast as the role for the same character in this one, I thought that was a great choice. And it's not her fault, it's the screen time she's given, like I said. That makes the movie suffer. She's hardly in it, and that is a bad decision, because Mrs. Medlock was one of the best things about the original, and she's hardly used here. And it's like they said, here's the same thing as this one, but we're going to take this thing away from it, but we hope you like it equally as much. And it just doesn't work like that. It was a bad decision to just focus on this smaller group of characters, because they're hardly doing anything as it is, and that was part of the reason that this movie was kind of boring. Now, alongside Julie Walters, Colin Firth is also in this movie, but again, he's hardly in the film. And that's just a huge missed opportunity. It's like these two just shot their scenes in a weekend, got a payslip and said thank you very much, and got lashed all over the movie posters to entice people in. It's a damn shame, really, because I know I said they were good casting choices, but they're always going to be. Like I said, you could have put any actors here and they would have done a decent enough job with what they had to work with, because they're hardly used and they just don't matter too much to this movie. Honestly guys, I found this movie kind of hard to review because there's just not too much to it. A young girl wanders around a big house and then its garden, finds a few friends and then repeats the process, and there's a few flashbacks thrown in here and there for good measure, and that's it. Don't expect too much from this film. Look, what I'm trying to say is this movie is just okay. It's not terrible, it's not great, it's just a remake that ain't as good as the original, I'm afraid. And that seems to be becoming a trend with my latest 2020 movie reviews now, doesn't it? I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give The Secret Garden a 5 out of 10. Look, there might be something for some people here. Ultimately though, I can't see myself watching this movie ever again. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, seeing as The Secret Garden was kind of a boring movie, how about a boring fact to go with it? Colin, Firth and Julie Walters were in Mamma Mia together. Okay guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. If you want to check out some more of my 2020 movie reviews, the link will be down below. If you want to subscribe, it's up to yourself. And if you want to comment about The Secret Garden, please leave it down below. And I will reply to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy guys. And I'll see you all in the next video.